Hey everyone, welcome to my Frozen Orb Hydra Sorc guide in Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's a hybrid build combining cold and fire damage. It's in my humble opinion the best and most fun way to start the season, and you will know why by the end of this video. Feel free to make use of the timestamps below if you want to skip around. When starting a Sorc, you will quickly realize running only one element gets awkward in Hell mode. I already have a full cold Sorceress guide on my channel, but in this video I'll explain you my all-time favorite season starter, the Frozen Orb Hydra Hybrid. I started the season twice this way in Resurrected. I used to play this build way back in the day in OG Diablo, but with Fireball. But since Hydra works a little bit different here, it's so good. Like, it's absolutely viable. It's, in my humble opinion, one of the best season starters you can play if you are a solo player. The build requires you to a little bit pay attention about your positioning. You need to be well aware how to teleport, when to teleport, resource management. It's not a AFK build like Blizzard, for example, but you get the benefit of being able to progress solo through the game. When speaking about like starting to farm, actually in Hellmouth, like bare minimum day one, like boom, this is your starting point, right? You can farm all the nice starting areas like Eldritch, Shank, Pindle, as well as some of the terror zones, like when they hit Act 1 or Act 2. The build is also very good to farm keys, at least Countess and Summoner. I would not recommend you to farm Nidotak because this Sorceress is ultra squishy, has like minus 100 all resist. It's not meant for carrying bail runs, it's a solo build mainly. Sometimes I join groups if I struggle somewhere or to get a waypoint. Yo, let's talk about the gear real quick. Of course, my build and my setup is only a template, okay? Make changes according to your playstyle, etc. Also, there's a little wiggle room when it comes to items, because it all depends on how much faster cast rate you can get with your gear. In the example of my setup, I'm using a Spirit Sword, a Lore Helm, and a Stealth Armor. That's the backbone of the build. And also the bare minimum which you need, like those three, I would absolutely prioritize. I have one skill amulet here. I have a Saigon Shield. Of course, eventually, maybe the first upgrade I would get is a Spirit, but let's not talk about upgrades. Yeah, Saigon Shield, probably the easiest and best. Why no Rhyme? Rhyme has no plus skill, and also you don't really cannot be frozen when you have teleport. Boots, some random boots. Absolutely no need boots. Runborg is cool. Cast red rings. You don't need good ones like those. Get just plain blue ones. Like really, plain blue 10 FCR ring would do here. If you're real desperate for cast rate, you could also craft one. Could craft a caster belt, but I never did that. It always worked out like this for me. Mage Fist. They can cost up to a pull rune, like day one or so, but I would not trade for them. These are the type of items you find in the terror zones all the time, and that's what this build is made for mainly. Like, progressing through the campaign as a solo player and immediately start farming like the new zones, right? Because they give the best XP and the best loot. So it only makes sense. I have the Cold Thunders here, or rather the Cold and the Fire Thunder here. They are super easy to get, like they drop like candy. Not mandatory, but it makes the build work way better, obviously, right? No Skiller yet. I would go for Cold Skiller. For me personally, I use this build on a season start and then transition into a full Blizzard Sorc. Like, Blizzard is cool, in my opinion, one of the best builds in the literally cool, but one of the best builds in the game, but for a solo player, it's not that great. If I have a players A group, I carry the bail runs, I go full Blizzard right from the start. But if I progress as a solo player, I use this build. Speaking of Hydra, and speaking of the abilities, let's talk about Skilltree for a second. So, for those people who don't know, they changed how Hydra works in Resurrected. So, you cannot play this build in OG Diablo. In OG Diablo, I paired Frozen Orb with Fireball. Cool build, but this is way better. So, you can just dump your Hydras and you don't have to worry about it. They just attack everything like crazy. They try to kill everything on sight, and you spam Frozen Orbs. I tried several variations of this because it's a hybrid build, right? Dual elemental sorceress. How to distribute the points, actually. So you can mix and match this however you like. It depends on, do you want your Hydra to be your main attack or Orbra, Orbra, a frozen Orb Hydra? Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, it depends on what you want for your main attack, like frozen Orb or Hydra. I like to have it 50-50, so it's nice and balanced. And I achieved this when I scale 20 in Orb, 20 in Cold Mastery. That's it. I do not max like Ice Bolt, I do not max the damage synergy here. That's it, 20-20. Of course, 1 in teleport and stuff. And I max out Hydra, I max out Fire Mastery, and I put all my remaining points into a synergy for Hydra. And what I do is, I don't get Fire Skiller, I'll eventually trade for Cold Skiller. And that worked out for me the best way and was the most fun, okay? Like, try it. Like, you do you. Try. Maybe go full ham on Hydra or whatever and get Fire Skiller. But that's what I did. Putting points into a Hydra synergy. Putting no points into the Frozen Orb synergy. But instead getting Cold Skiller. Therefore, yeah, I have damage for Orb and I have good damage for Hydra. The damage seems low. It's only 350. But don't get fooled, man. It is strong. It is strong. The build is not good for carrying players 8 Barons. You will not be able to clear Chaos Run. That's not what the build is made for, okay? The build serves the sole purpose of finishing the campaign as a solo player and then immediately go into farming as a solo player. So if you have a dedicated group, go full Blizzard. Play something else, okay? Like, this is just GZ starter build, and it works great for that purpose. If you want a build who can clear players 8 everything, I would refer you to my 15k Blizzard setup. But yeah, that's the skill tree. Fairly simple. You can only play this in Resurrected. So really cool build. It's fun. It's actually fun. Merc real quick. Get the worst possible roll. Doesn't really matter for day 1. Of course, eventually you want a good base. A ethereal one as well. This is the real MVP. I can only recommend you this Rune Bird, Life Leech, and physical damage reduction for those type of runes. So that's really, really good. Keeps him alive basically. And whatever random armor. Treasury would be nice, but a Lem rune, day 1, is more like an Ist rune. So I gave him a Ethereal Durashell because I had it laying around. That's for the gear. Merc and Skilltree. Stat points, of course. Enough in strength and dex required to wear the gear. Dump everything else. I dumped everything else into vitality. If you feel like you have mana problems, you could put some points into energy, but with a decent roll of insight, you should be good to go with life only. Yeah, cast rate, faster cast rate, 95. You want 105 here? Absolutely. I have the wrong amulet. So you gotta mix and match the gear a little bit, right? Unlike Blizzard, cast rate here is important for the abilities, for placing Hydras and stuff. So reaching 105 is absolutely recommended. And you can somewhat easily achieve this, right? I don't have a spirit sword, a shield. Yeah, like mostly stealth, mage fist, 2 cast rings, a cast amulet. Maybe you can find a littlest. You could use a rhyme, and it depends on what you find. The most important: spirit sword, lore helm, stealth armor. But yeah, that's how I did it back in season 3 or season 4, I think. The build was insane. Most guys know that they changed Hydra. Like, there is actually a lot different in Resurrected. A lot of little things, right? Like the Hydra change, for example. But yeah, let me know what you think about the build. Will you try this in season 6? I can only highly recommend you this build for a season start, for a solo player. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.